Okay, so I have a conundrum that I want to ask your opinion about. It is where
That's dirty.
the intersection of video games and philosophy, in the sense that I have my original Super Nintendo from back when I
Wait, are
was.
we going for an Oscar or whatever they do for podcasts? Because
Yes,
that's really like
yes, this is the
highbrow.
you have to do that for this, so this one can be nominated. That's right.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
so I have my Super Nintendo from like original run of when I got it. Have all sorts of like DK Country and Mario World and Mario Paint, all these things. Anyways, or Mario Paint. Anyway,
Yeah, that's a
so I
thing.
have my old files on there. The ones I used to play with like my parents or my friends, ones that I found secrets and I go back and I'm like, oh yeah, I did that, or hey, I haven't done that one. Let me help you out, 7-year-old me, or whatever. And suddenly it started just crapping out on me a little bit, to the point where I thought maybe the games had a problem, or my system. I couldn't identify the issue. I finally determined um, the core of the system was faulty. Right. I don't think we could pinpoint exactly which part, but it was faulty uh, just on the inside. So I went and got a new replacement Super Nintendo. Okay, so now I have two. I have my awesome one, broken on the inside, new
Hmm.
refurbished one that works just fine. But I I want to use the parts of the new piece to somehow make my old one still be good. And I don't know enough about piecing together hardware inside a system that I want to just remove the shell of the new one and put my old shell over the new one instead. Is it the same system if I do that? Or am
Oh,
I
this is Theseus's SNES.
I was going to say the SNES of Theseus.
exactly? Is this the same Super Nintendo? And if not, is there a point where it became not my Super Nintendo anymore? Or is there a point if I continue, it won't become the Super Nintendo? I mean, besides just
I mean,
replacing the whole thing, I guess.
unless you stole the second one, I think they're both your Super
Yeah,
Nintendo.
but my true Super Nintendo from my
You can
childhood.
you can own two things. It's not a
I'm-
philosophical question. They're both yours.
they are both mine, but I want it to be my baby, my first console ever. Like, I mean, I know
Well, what are you going to do when you have two kids?
Well, joke's on you. Zach has far too many kids.
I have
Wait,
I do have I have
that was
twins,
poorly
so
phrased.
there's something in that conversation right there. But yeah, like, I mean, you replace an engine on a car, it's the same car, right?
Depends on who you ask. I mean, if you
Does
drop
it?
something, if you take an old, Model A and you drop a V12 engine into it that has a high heat capacity and a supercharger or something like that, functionally you've got a hot rod now. You no longer have just a Model A. So
So does it?
your
Mm.
ownership is also not making it special. You owning it doesn't make
Alex,
it yours.
mine is special. Mine is special.
I think you're looking at this from the wrong perspective. You got to remember that we are talking about software as well.
Oh,
So
valid.
technically, how many pieces can you replace until you no longer have the license? Is the question you should be asking.
And also, my files are on the cartridge, but when my Super Nintendo started being faulty, it started messing with the files on my cartridge. So I feel like something there is also something for my ownership as well. Man, I got like 80% through Link to the Past, and it erased that. Isn't that a bummer?
If it deleted your
Oh.
files, I think that kind of answers the question about the SNES of Theseus of that's not your SNES anymore.
Yeah, it
True.
wouldn't do that to me.
It's betrayed you.
It wouldn't.
Yeah, it betrayed me. Exactly.
I have no SNES.
I have no SNES and I must scream.
I think we've quoted that on what 50%
At
of
least
our
50%
episodes.
Relevant
of
to
these.
everything.
It's beautiful.
It's perfect.
Great. I mean,
Glad to bring you into it.
have you guys had a system that like it was like you still feel bad that it died, or you tried to
Well-
resuscitate it, or you tried to keep it going when it was just ready to go?
Uh, I had a Sega Genesis that I loved, and then I ended up selling it to buy a Game Boy Color because I had to play Tetris.
Now
Right.
that Sega probably feels betrayed.
It should, yes. And then later on, I thought I got to make this better, and I went and I bought a used Genesis from I don't know, Funko Land or something, and got it home and realized that the reset button didn't work. And one of my favorite games for the Genesis that I immediately wanted to go back to was X-Men.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
just like a lot of the games, Sonic, etc., you turn it on, and it's a brand new game, and you have to play, and you can't turn it off if you want to get to the end. And so X-Men starts from the beginning, and then
Is that the one that starts in the danger room? Is that one?
I think so, yes.
Okay,
And you
yeah.
punch the little picture of you on the wall,
Yeah.
and it you
right.
change your character. Yeah, and so I got to this really late level. It may be at the end. I don't remember, but it's it's one of the earliest. Like, the system is destroying itself. You have to reset the system, and I'm just running around like, what do I do? And then
I can't reset it. I can't
yeah,
help
at
you.
some point, like it's a hint, but I've never had to do this in any other game. You actually have to hit the reset button, and it resets the whole console, and gets you past that.
What
And
an
the reset button
problem
didn't
to
work,
have.
and that's how I found out.
Gosh,
Yes, it's the worst.
that is so specific.
And so I betrayed my Genesis, and then a new Genesis betrayed me.
Oof. Ain't that just the way?
Yes, which, I guess if I could have replaced the reset button, that might have tied into your story. I was just excited to tell you about my Sega Genesis.
If you had replaced the reset button, would it still be the same system? Yes, right? Yeah, it's just a button. Just one button.
I mean, that's where.
But then we start getting into the question of
Mhm.
how many pieces can you replace until it's no longer the same system?
Right. Is it 50% or 49.9%?
Well, and
Is it a
secondarily
many-
to that, is your save game really the only thing that's important? If I completely and totally swapped out your NES or a Super Nintendo, it's inside a cabinet. You never see it yourself. This is Schrodinger's ship of
Right.
Theseus.
Okay,
all right?
okay, yeah,
and all
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
doing
yeah,
is
yeah.
plugging in an old memory card to it. And now, I mean, I
Yeah.
know, now bear with me. I don't remember if the SNES actually had the memory cards or not, but
No, but I understand
No.
your point. Yes.
and let's say you never knew. So all you had is this data that you assumed was yours,
Oh,
and it
man.
ended up
That
on
is-
another console. At that point, does that make it yours because your save data is on there?
To that point, there's a lot of really cool technology out there that lets you physically plug in a cartridge to a USB device, and you can download the save files onto a computer.
Really?
So then you get into ROMs and emulating
Right,
and
right.
playing games on a computer using save files from physical cartridges. Are you still playing your same save file when it's emulated?
Ooh.
I mean, because you can't move it, right? You got to copy it.
It's all the same data. It's all the same thing. You save it, all of that string of data that you put in there, every change you've made that affected that save file
Hmm.
is copied over to an emulator on a computer.
I asked my parents a question like this once that was essentially to the tune of they didn't remember where a picture was taken. And so they kind of, crowd tricked it and asked around and said, oh, can somebody tell me about this picture that got taken? They got the information about it and said, well, that's what it must be. And I asked them if that was actually their memory and should it be in the scrapbook, or was it just somebody else's memory that they were pretending to have?
Hmm.
And I don't remember if I got dinner that night. So I don't
Go to bed, Alex.
fundamentally,
We
I
don't
don't
need this from
know.
you.
Now we're getting back into philosophy, because then you talk about the fact that your body's every cell of your body is replaced every 7 years or so.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So then every 7
That's
years,
why
are
we have
you
to-
the same person?
No, that's why we have to renew our driver's licenses.
It's true.
That's the
You've
only
cracked it.
reason.
That's the real reason.
That's the only reason.
Now, in the end, I got a SNES Classic when those came out. So, like, the point is sort of moot, but not really, because I still lose my save files, right? Like, that's the problem.
I wish you could plug those into each other. Just have a big tower of Super Nintendos.
Just a big Super Nintendo
Gradually
with like the
decaying.
two ports are both just SNES Classics that then have
And then
controllers coming out.
Throw a Game Shark in the top.
Mhm.
Plug a Sonic and Knuckles into the top
On
of the
top of
Game
that.
Shark, and
Yeah.
then
Maybe that's the answer, though. Maybe the answer is, it's like the what is it? A man with one watch always knows what time it is. A man with two never knows. Maybe you need more than two Super Nintendos so that you'll know that whatever Super Nintendo you're playing is yours. And it doesn't matter because you don't have to switch them out. You just play whichever one works, and you buy a new one each time it stops working. And that way, you don't have to deal with this problem anymore.
And then I'm just so exhausted that I just don't care. I'm just like, I
You're
don't know.
welcome.
Just whatever's closer, I'm going
Problem
to play on
solved.
this one.
Mhm.
Today, this is mine.
Why don't we have cool add-ons for electronics anymore?
I don't know. We
I
mentioned,
feel like
Rumble
the
packs.
only one is the sound bar for a flat screen TV, and that's boring.
Yeah. I miss Rumble packs. I miss like Game Boys. You'd have all sorts of remember the one that you could put on a Game Boy that you would slide over, and there was a light over the screen before the screen itself
With,
would
like,
light up.
And you could have the magnifying glass lens that flipped over the front to make it look like it was bigger.
Yep, these were cool.
I always had the warm light, the little plug-in Game Boy Color light.
Yes,
it was a cheaper
And then
option for
if you-
me.
I think I had that at one point too. But if you didn't have those
Game Boy
things, then it was
Adventure.
just being in the back seat at night and you're going past the street light and be like, oh, I can play. Okay, pause.
Now I'm just
Okay, I
giving
can play. Pause.
Now I'm just giving my PlayStation 5 a very disappointed glare. Do something cool.
Yeah, there's nothing cool about
You mean
just
5 hours of updates?
yeah.
This is my one chance to play.
This
Oh,
month.
I pay a monthly subscription to play Monster Hunter. Ugh.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Pay to play.
Oh, I miss Monster Hunter. We at Animorphs 55, the podcast, would love to hear from you. You can email the show at animorphspodpeople@gmail.com. We also post links to other listening methods, our Blue Sky account, and links to friends of the show on our Linktree at linktree.com/Animorphs55, the podcast. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Animorphs 55, the podcast. I'm one of those hosts of yours, Zach.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Alex.
I just really wanted to be second.
And today we're joined by a fourth host.
Hi, my name is Anthony. I'm from a show called the Book Faire podcast.
I love it. What do you do there on that podcast?
There I will do typically weekly interviews with authors as well as highlight recent releases for people who are not so nostalgia based in their children's literature and want to know what's going on in the modern children's literature space, as well as covering any news that's affecting libraries and public schools, which unfortunately has been a lot for the last few months as places are going through their legislative sessions.
Truth.
Where can everybody find more things about your projects? Where are you heard? Where everything else?
So the Book Faire podcast is available wherever major podcasts are found. So you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's on YouTube Music as well. There's also a Blue Sky account at Book Faire Pod, and it is also fair spelled Faire, the old-fashioned way.
Nice.
Very good. Cool.
Exquisite.
Check it out.
We'll come back and talk more details, but I do want to get into this book that we read together.
What was it called again?
I forgot. I don't
Oh,
remember.
okay. Gotcha.
Aha! You know you had
we-
to. You know we had to do that one.
I had to set that bit up before y'all got to it. Right.
Right. Thank you.
You were.
Jake's third book tagline is "Nothing is what it seems," which is maybe the most vague of a tagline we've had at this point. I will go ahead and set the scene with a little background as Jake turns into a jaguar on the cover.
Mhm.
There's been an accident. Someone crash landed a Yeerk bug fighter, and the Yeerks have been trying to cover it up quickly, but not before Tobias spots it. So the Animorphs and Axe decide to steal the ship to show the world that Earth has been invaded. That's when things go terribly wrong. Before they know it, Jake, the other Animorphs, and Axe find themselves in another place, another time, and there's no way home. ...
4 dots. Got one
It
of those
is-
collector's edition.
It is such a vague tagline. I hate to break it to you guys, though. Everything is as it seems.
As it turns out.
There's nothing misleading about this book.
Nope.
It's all there.
No
It's all
misdirects.
exactly as it seems. In fact, I think we see what it is faster than anybody does as it's happening.
I am over double their age, so
Hey, that's not the point. Come on. Okay. So this one's interesting because when we start, we get in every chapter we get a little timestamp, which is a new thing that is not normally in any of the books. but we start off in mid-afternoon. And
This one is, well, it's not right after the Axe book. I was thinking it was right after the Axe book where he starts each chapter with a author's note.
yeah,
And I thought, oh, well, maybe that played really well and they want to try that again. But
could be. I
Nah.
mean, maybe they would have been groups. I don't know. But this one does have a lot to do with time as well. But Patrick, you loved the intro. Why don't you explain the intro for us?
this was perhaps my favorite first chapter in any of the books we've read, perhaps
Awesome.
in any of the books that I've read, not just limited to Animorphs.
Great.
I've really been enjoying using the word perhaps.
Good.
Anyway, so in here, Jake is at school and he is in, I don't know what kind of crazy class he's in, but he and Rachel are line dancing. It's line dancing class, I guess. And he's just dancing around, and Rachel's making fun of him, and he's throwing back like, stand up for yourself insults like, oh, do-si-do this, no, promenade this. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just great. And then Cassie's just like wandering the halls, and she pokes her head in the classroom and sees what's going on. And Jake's describing himself as just, I think he uses the word galumphing around.
And a
No, he
big
says-
honking goober. Did I take that one out of your mouth, Anthony?
I was right in the middle of saying it. It's one of the few quotes I have written down from the book.
It was in all
I
caps, too.
I promenaded, which consists of walking like a big honking goober.
And
Thanks,
it's just Jake just being so embarrassed by what he's being forced to do in class. And Cassie, who he's, super excited about holding hands with at some point in the future, walks in and she's just cracking up, just doubled over laughing about how embarrassed he is. And, everything is, it's all positive. Everybody's having a good time. But, Jake's just dying inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was my favorite part. But then suddenly he's transported to another world, and he's in a jungle, and he's a monkey, and then suddenly he's back.
Yeah, this is like
doing,
seconds. It seems
line
like it's
dancing.
seconds to me.
Yeah,
No.
and he stops line dancing.
Yeah,
'cause
and
he's so
everyone,
shaken.
no one knows any of this happened to him. It's just Jake's point of view. Like, he's presumably living his life, flashes for a few seconds, sees this other reality, flashes right back, and telling Cassie, "Let's see you, do-si-do," or whatever. And it's very jarring. You don't really see the word flash, this description of climbing vines, whatever, and then flash again very quickly, less than a paragraph, I think, is what I remember.
Mhm.
But as reading it the first time, you're like, I don't know what that means. Like, what is that? But they do find out that Tobias, it brings down the tone a bit. Everyone's having a good time laughing and things, and then Tobias found something. He wants you to come out ASAP. Tobias being a downer.
Mm-hmm. And nobody knows what it is. They just have to walk and hope Tobias will eventually tell them.
Now, Anthony, I have a question for you on this one. We've read a few of these now, and we get to some of the parts where it's like, okay, I've read, I know what happened. I know that there was a crash at the beginning of the first book, and then an alien gave them these powers to morph, and that there's these Yeerks that are we know these things, but at the beginning of every book, it does give you a good page or two, maybe three, quick summary. How did that feel for you, or did it feel like a redundant?
So the funny thing is, about 2 years ago, I started reading Animorphs for about 3 or 4 months, and this is the book that I stopped on.
Wow. Okay. Perfect.
All right.
We planned
So
that out.
I had this one ready.
Wait.
And to answer your question, my notes say Chapter 2, the frustrating recap,
Oh, yes.
because it's every single book, and it's always interlaced with dialogue relating to the subject. So Jake is talking about how they're going to meet up with Tobias after school while also explaining everything. And so you kind of skim through it, and then it's like, whoa, why are they going over to Tobias? What's going on with with Cassie and all this. So I got to go back and I got to read the recap that I skipped over because I already knew this part.
They interject enough things to make you not be able to fully skip it.
Exactly.
I have wondered as they do these things, how many creative ways they had to think to write, the same stuff. There's only so many ways you can say, oh, this alien looks like a cross between a scorpion and a human and a deer, and there's only so many ways to talk about screaming inside your own mind as you're controlled by an alien, and so on, right?
I feel like they came up with one way to do it, and it's not creative at all.
Okay. Coming in hot.
Zing.
I love you, Catherine. I love you, Catherine. I enjoy these books.
Yeah.
I didn't stop because I didn't like this one.
Right.
It's just that this is probably the worst part of these books
Of each one.
is having to read exactly what happened and how and be explained what an andalite is as if you hadn't read any of the other books.
Do you think you could just like pick up book 47 and enjoy it without having read the previous 46?
I enjoyed one in the mid-20s.
But and it gave you that recap, right? But
Yeah.
did you? I mean,
Did
gosh,
I
it feels like
grasp
you'd be still
everything?
missing
No.
a lot.
I mean, yeah, you're not getting everything, but also, I mean, I don't know what kind of recap you would have to be clever enough to do that if you're reading all these books, back to back, let's say, that it wouldn't feel redundant, repetitive, and boring and everything without at the same time losing your mind over just like I have, here's a fact sheet and I just need to, link these sentences together in a narrative
Checklist.
format. That's I don't know. I think I would agree with Anthony here that like kind of the overcomplication of it every time just brings more attention to it instead of less. If you just said, hey, here's the facts. Every first chapter, the exact same, just the difference is my name is Jake instead of my name is Cassie, my name is Rachel, whatever. Fundamentally, you could just skip ahead. But trying to roll it in, come on, y'all. I mean, come on.
That's true, right? You could
I
just
feel
throw
like-
like some kind of prologue thing in every single one or something.
Exactly. I feel like also there's a point where like maybe at like book 50 when they're like, okay, so we have to explain what all of this is. We also got to go over the Elemist and all these other different things that have happened since then. And like, okay, we haven't talked about the Elemist in about 20 books, but we're gonna act like this weird god character is something that we've talked about.
Right.
Yeah. Pick and choose what you're going to recap.
Fair.
Yeah, and at that point, do you just start your book with, don't go find book number 1 if you haven't read these
I'm
yet?
sure I
Or
wrote
do
one
you
of these
do it as
journals
like
somewhere. You could find one, I bet.
I mean,
Or do you do
having
like
having been a child who had to selectively choose what they got from the Scholastic Book Fair, I think go find book 1 is not the best piece of advice.
You know what? I agree with you. Yes, because like a lot of libraries will have like 5,
Right.
or
Yep.
they'll have like 5 that are in stock. And yeah, well, it's either I don't read Animorphs or I am confused. So yeah, okay, but
Pick the lesser of the two.
yeah, okay.
So
I still don't think it's enough. Yeah.
So they are walking along and do hook up with Tobias, and all as birds get flown and led to a grocery store, and Tobias is being very coy. Instead of just being like, here's what I found, he's like, hey, follow me. Oh, hey, do you notice anything about this grocery store? Hey, what if we've... Okay, Tobias, just tell me what is happening. We got
I'll
things to do, man.
bite.
Yeah.
It'll mean more if I lead you to the answer.
Yeah, let's just cut to the chase, Tobias. In fact, I actually noticed after a bit of reading this one, I was like, wow, they really kind of like padded this a little bit to me, where I
Yes.
feel like in a lot of them, it was like a chapter of getting to the mission, determining the mission, and starting a plan. This one felt like a chapter of getting to the mission, a chapter of looking around to figure out what the mission's going to be, a chapter of making a plan for the mission, then a chapter of like, let's leave so then I can spend a chapter to come back. And before you know it, I was like halfway through this book and I was like, start the dang mission already. Where's the Jaguar?
Oh my goodness. That is like the worst. It's the worst filler because like you said, there's so much setup for what is essentially 2 very distinct plots of this book.
Right.
There is the grocery store plot, which is going to facilitate some sort of break-in and some sort of mission of stealth type mission inside of it. and then something going on with these weird visions that is going to have to be explained at some point. So there's already so much padding for 2 big story points.
Mm-hmm.
And then for some reason, what's more important than that is Jake Paul and Mike Tyson boxing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for a whole chapter. Which, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you do. Okay, so to back up, they get to the, because that was a really interesting part to me as well. They get to the store. Essentially, Tobias says, "Hey, look, there's a hole in the wall. A ship plowed through this thing. There's a bug fighter in there, and they're trying to cover it up. What are we gonna do about it? Hey, we could always just, I don't know, steal it. Yeah, okay, yeah, we could.
Why
I
not?
guess we could
I'll buy
steal
it,
it.
yeah.
Sure, okay, yeah. All right,
But,
let's
yeah,
go
don't
home for
they-
a few hours. What was the reason that they said, let's go home for a few hours and come back? Just get your affairs in order? Was that what it was?
Do we need cover of night?
I-
Or
Remind your parents that you're alive? It's the 90s. They don't care until you're like going to bed.
Oh, it's because they needed to wait until nighttime, I think.
Okay, just because
that
it was like, it was easier to be stealthy at night.
Yeah.
Guess so.
Okay. Sure.
When the store was presumably empty, where in this fantasy land where grocery stores close at 8 p.m.
Correct. Right.
Well, but it had a hole in it, and all the shelves were pushed into the corner. It's not open.
Yeah, were people
Fair,
working?
fair point.
there?
Fair point.
Till 8.
Yeah.
You
Baffling.
sweep.
Yeah, so like you said, Anthony, that Jake goes home and is like, "All right, I gotta go meet up back with them in like a couple hours." Oh my gosh, what is my dad doing? Oh, Jake, Tom, let's watch the fight. You know how we always watch the fight. That thing that we always do.
We can't skip this. Dad paid $40 on pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
So
$40 in 90s money.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
I like the line that the dad had where he joked with his mom or something and was like, because he's gonna have his own friends come over. He's like, maybe I should charge them admission. And it was very much like a throwaway
Should.
line. Like if the mom was like, no, that's dumb, he'd be like, oh yeah, I don't know. But if she was like, I don't know, maybe, he'd be like, okay, let's do it. Kind of gauging her interest in this idea to see if she's on board before
And
before
she's
he-
like, "Do I have to feed them too?"
yeah.
No, they'll bring chips.
Yeah, they'll be chips. It'll be fine.
Such a
Um,
strange family interaction too. You have this like, you have all these other moments where you get Jake and Tom, and it's like, yeah, that's like a basically on 2 separate sides of things that never interact with each other authentically, and so my assumption is like, oh, that's where we're treating this family with gravity, and each family seems to have their own dynamics, and then you get Jake's dad and mom, and they are just the most generic 90s sitcom. Oh, my wife and I'm gonna watch the fight and drink beer with my guy buddies, and women aren't allowed. Come on, you're better than this. This is better than this. Just, we don't need this. Okay, if you want some MacGuffin, that's fine, but this doesn't have to be it.
And speaking
It feels
of
like
MacGuffin,
it feels like Applegate wrote Jake as like the token white guy with the 2 parents
Yes.
with the nuclear family.
I mean, that's what it is, right? No one
Yeah.
else.
Overly
No one else
stereotypical.
fills that role. Yeah. And then we gotta like watch boxing. Like that's the lightest thing you can do. Yeah.
Oof.
yeah, and this whole chapter is just like a tension building. Like, is he gonna make it there on time? Ooh, Tom is also stressing out because he's got to get there on time. Come on, hurry up the fight. Come on,
Patrick,
come
I
on.
appreciate you
Oh, we
being
both
nice
got
to the
there.
book and calling it tension.
But yeah, I mean,
Boom.
like at the time, yeah, I feel like what Jake's not gonna make it in time, and then yeah, it's just we made it in time. It's fine.
Yeah, we did.
He takes out he takes out the tape from the VCR and says, "All right, cool. I'm gonna go show this to my friend.
Immediately.
Yeah.
What? No, it's
Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
Just a quick exit."
Yeah. Okay.
We spent a chapter getting up to this fight and sitting there watching it, and then just 2 paragraphs flying out the door.
Yeah, considering we do get a lot of good Jake Tom stuff normally, I felt like this was trying to do that, and it just was like, hey, we got to get back to spending 4 chapters for them to get inside the grocery store, I guess. So, so they do get back, and he's like, I can't call my friends because they're already there, so I'm just gonna be late. And he just gets in there.
Hightails it.
Meanwhile, he's had like another 1, 2 flashes, maybe 3 of these like weird flashes to green and jungle sounds and like weird animals he's not used to seeing and things like this. That is like peppered the story so far.
Yeah, it reminds me of Book 4, where Tobias and Cassie are getting messages from Axe, who is still under the sea. We're like, I'm glad Tobias didn't get that while he was flying, or else he would have fallen. Jake here flashes into this other timeline, and he's like, "Oh, I'm still flying. I guess I
Yeah, I'm
went on
good.
autopilot. It's fine."
Good. Seconds, I guess. I don't know. It's different. Those were like paralyzing, weren't they? Like, didn't they like knock Cassie out or something? I can't remember.
I
For
don't
the
know.
second.
I mean, we don't have anybody commenting on what they do to Jake,
Yeah. Right.
but
right.
yeah, just like the fight, it's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, is he gonna crash? No,
Nope.
he's fine.
Nope, he's fine.
Nothing unusual.
So they-
And in
All
one
right.
of these flashes, I have it highlighted here as a weird line where Marco says, "Our resident space cadet is a hot-looking monkey." Somebody wake me up when we get back to reality.
Always
And
a good quote.
I'm a little shocked that didn't stick out in my mind. Like no red flags. I was like, "Yep, he's having visions. I don't care."
Yeah.
Let's get to the part where we find out what the visions are.
Yeah.
And then I'll reanalyze what he was saying.
Yeah.
And then I will validate my feelings about Marco that are changing drastically due to that one statement.
Yeah. So they decide the best way to get there is morph across the street, from the grocery store, get across the street. But the best way to do that is to be flies because they're drawn to the smell of the food going bad in this store because everything's messed up in there.
They do a Toy Story 2.
They do
Yeah.
a Toy Story 2. That's exactly what I thought as well. Jake almost hits a windshield, does not. There's a lot of talk about crazy flying as a fly is wild. Colors are crazy. How does the street look? How do cars look? Okay, I mean, cool. We've done the fly thing before, but that's cool. We've never seen it at night with a bunch of lights. And they get in there, and again, takes their time. Okay, now we're flying around. Okay, now we're seeing the bug fighter. My goodness, guys, get the dang ship and go.
There sure are a lot of flies in here. Yeah, it's a grocery store, and I guess they're not worried about keeping the food well. Well, let's go see what those flies are doing. Maybe they're doing something interesting. Let's take a few chapters to... No!
Get the
No!
ship. So their plan is to
Meandering.
get the ship and go to Washington, D.C. Generic. Okay, as a kid, you're like, I don't know, take it to the president. That works, right? Well, okay.
Yeah, we
I
can't take
can
it to
buy
the police because we saw a few books ago the police
that.
are...
Right.
Was that in
Oh.
earnest? Them saying we're going to take this to Washington D.C. Because I really read that as
No,
like
that was in
we're just going to
Animorphs.
steal the ship and do something with it because it felt so flippant and so never again is it referenced that they were doing that to turn it into the president, and it was just such a non sequitur to throw that in there.
They did when they were in space. They were like,
Okay.
Tobias pulled a Hades from Hercules and was like, guys, Washington D.C. is that way, and they're like, oh
gotcha.
gosh, we're going toward the Red Sea.
Zoos.
I think
I just want to back up real quick and say how I wish that Ernest Steals a Spaceship was a movie that happened, because was that in earnest? And I said, I wish.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim Varney.
just a whole Hey Vern segment, but he's talking to aliens.
I'd watch it now. I
But
really would.
okay, so they're up in space, and Cassie's like, "Hey, look at the Red Sea."
Where's that?
M-
I can't
It's-
tell. Is
it's-
it labeled? It's not labeled on this globe. What do I do?
What kid knows how
Look
to
at the Red
identify the
Sea.
Red
It's
Sea
the
that
morning.
well? Yeah, that's
It's
nuts.
red, Alex. Come on.
No. Okay. All right.
I
Ain't
would like
playing
to
this
point
game
out that
today.
to get in that spaceship out into space, they're like, Axe, can you fly this? He's like, it's a Yeerk ship. Duh. This junk, we're so much better than this. Anyways,
Yeah, he had time to be racist to the Yeerks,
Correct.
to lesser life forms.
correct.
That's like my least favorite quality about Axe, by the way.
He-
He does it constantly. He is
All the time.
Always
Always.
talking down to lesser life forms.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And what's great
It
about
is
it
a
is he
very
is it
Andalite thing.
yes, and it
Mhm.
comes back to him a bit because Jake's like, okay, let's get the ship out of here. Let's get the ship out of here, and Axe
It's
is
like,
like,
actually,
I'm kind of struggling a little bit. This is embarrassing. I don't know how to fly this thing.
This is designed for attacks on. Do you know how many hands they have?
Yeah,
if I start
yeah.
using my tail, this whole thing's gonna get shredded.
Right. So they do get the ship. They haul out of there. They get out there and they're looking at the Earth, figure out which way to go. All right, let's turn around. Oh crap! There's the blade ship. Didn't expect that. Didn't feel that coming. we might
It's
be screwed.
silhouetted on the moon like the Batwing.
Yeah, which is a cool visual. I dig that.
Yeah.
I dig that.
But yeah, I've thought about how difficult it must be for Superman to find his way around like the country. Like, I got to get to Chicago. Well, I'm pretty sure that's close to a lake.
Yeah.
Let me go really, really high up.
Yeah.
Okay, now the ground looks like the maps that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah,
I think Chicago's there. Cool. And I just imagined that they're like, okay, we got to get to Washington, D.C. in the spaceship. Which way's east? Axe is like, I'm not going to tell him. I'm busy with all these
Yeah.
buttons.
Yeah, I
And,
told them that I know directions like one time, but they seem to have forgotten, so I'm not going to bring it up again.
Yeah, and so we have to go really high up in the air.
Yep.
And okay, now there's all the enemy ships. Whoops.
Related question coming up here is that they say we need to possibly battle the blade ship. We might lose, but I don't know what else to do. And there is very much a moment where Jake's like, oh, I think I'm going to die now, which is kind of throwaway line, but it's very much like this is just suddenly ending, which is how this kind of stuff would happen, right? You just suddenly over. But the more lighthearted part is that he gets in the weapons station or whatever. I'm thinking kind of in my head like the Millennium Falcon a bit, right? When they're
Sure.
getting in there in A New Hope. And Marco has well, my question is, are you a Star Trek fan or a Star Wars fan more? Because when he got in that line and he said, he did like a Picard accent or whatever and was like bringing a Star Trek line, I thought it would have been a better line to be like, use the Force, Luke, because he couldn't figure out how to use the controls fully and he had to do it mentally. Come on, Star Wars reference, guys. No?
Chewie, never give up, never surrender.
I think Galaxy Quest is definitely the right route here.
Ooh, that is a good one.
I think we're all on the wrong page here.
Not Trek or
The true
War.
answer was Galaxy Quest.
The whole time. Yeah, so they shoot at the blade ship. Blade ship shoots at them. There's a huge explosion, and suddenly both of them are just spiraling toward the Earth. And Cassie's like, wait, is it daylight right now?
Hey, look at the Red Sea. Everybody look at the Red Sea again.
Look at the Red
'cause
Sea.
It's,
There it
it's
goes.
different than
There
it
it goes
was.
again.
Just
Shut
There
up
it
about
goes.
the Red Sea.
Ah.
Nobody cares but you, Cassie. We aren't good at geography. I don't know what land
I only know
masses
about
and
the
water
deep
masses
blue
are.
sea, which is clearly this
I
one.
can't find the Red Sea on a map in my classroom. Why am I going to see it right
Use
now?
a better
when I'm dying?
landmark, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, am I the only one that doesn't know where the Red Sea is? I can't.
It's
where Africa and Asia
okay.
touch.
I
Yeah,
was
it's where
going
the
to say
Suez
that.
Okay,
Canal
I would not have said that. I would have guessed somewhere in Europe.
Or is that
Yeah.
the Gulf of Oman?
Yeah.
What am I thinking of?
So he just says, and everything went black, and that's when we finally get to the meat of this book.
Right.
On like
10
I don't
chapters
even
in.
know what chapter
11.
that is. Yeah.
It is. I got
100.
it right here. I got the Kindle on the
thank
PC
you.
open. Chapter 11.
You are so good at
Goodness.
notes.
And it's
So you
it's
say
a
11?
23 chapter book, so literally halfway. My gosh.
Yeah. Chapter 11. Time unknown. Who ho 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 ha ha kia. I feel like you really got to put a lot into that to make the narration work.
All
Anthony,
uppercase.
I read these to my wife out loud, so because I don't skip through things, and also she's not familiar with the series. And when I turned the page to that and saw that as the first lines, I just like started laughing. I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna stop now, and we'll just read tomorrow because I'm not gonna deal with this part right now." Yeah. So he it's just sounds of the jungle, lots of jungle sounds. The
Soothing.
descriptions are loud, noisy, green, claustrophobic, heavy, wet. These are all the kind of adjectives that we get.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch
and
of
he wakes
plants
up
there.
just like alone. I think the first person that finds him is Tobias. And they gradually all find each other, and they're like, "Oh my gosh! Like, where are we? We don't know." And Axe also, it's messed with his sense of time, right?
Well, he knows the daytime. Yeah.
He knew what time it was.
Oh,
he
that's
knew
right, that's
exactly
right.
what time it was locally, even though, as he explains, time got a little funky there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the weird part to me, is the idea of saying, well, I know exactly what time it is. I just don't know what day it is. And I'm like, so how
Or
does
year.
the mechanism that allows you to know the exact time it is work? Like, is this some angular momentum thing where you're like, I
Yeah.
know exactly what the spin feels like on my, I don't know.
And Jake goes, "Hey, so are we in the past or in the future?" And I love Axe's line. He's like, "Yes, one of those. That's right."
Those. Great.
I have a far more important and pressing continuity error a couple pages before that chapter break,
Okay.
I'm ready.
which is when they are meeting up,
Mhm.
and Cassie had a cut on one hand, which she'd bandaged with strips torn from her t-shirt.
Yes.
I thought
remember
the
that.
entire point of morphing was that they had to wear skin-tight outfits that could morph with them.
Ooh, yeah. So then, if they morph later, I mean, it's a one. Actually, why did they even further than that? Why didn't she just like do a quick morph demorph? Like you don't have
She's
to.
good at it.
Yeah. So Anthony, Cassie's the best morpher. I don't know how.
Yeah,
much you remember. Yeah.
Axe has a word for it. I can't remember what it was. It was in one of the earlier books.
Yes.
And it's specifically called out as being beautiful. It's like an
Right.
art form the way she does it.
Right. So why not just pop a quick morph and then you automatically heal? You don't have to do any of it. Estrene. That's what it was. Estrene.
She could morph one hand into
Yeah.
like a horse hoof.
She's pretty talented. I wouldn't. Yeah. What's
Well,
with the bandage?
This is an experimental bug fighter. And so my assumption is, given the human controller's experience and everything, that there is a box of t-shirts that says something like, I survived the experimental bug fighter's first launch and successful testing, and all I got was this
And
t-shirt.
all I
This
got.
is the early 90s. This is the mid-90s, where this is well within that territory.
Yeah.
Yes, the Yeerks are authoritarians. They're fascists. They're bad people. But they still do team building exercises
Right.
whenever they have their controllers
Commemorative
around.
T-shirts.
Dust balls,
That
all
easy.
kinds of things.
You
Yeah.
guys,
Corporate
merch
culture
idea.
is very important.
Merch idea. I'm with experimental bug fighter and an arrow.
Okay.
And
We'll
it
add
says
to our shirt
experimental
slogans that
bug
we've come up with.
fighter on the other one. Yes, I love that. I love that.
Oh yeah, it's like for couples. Oh yeah, great. That's very specific target
For all you
marketing. We
couples
have
out
to
there,
find
feel free to
couples
visit
that
the
have
merch
this.
shop. Yeah.
Yeah, not just into the Animorphs, but listen to the podcast for the reference. I love it.
Happy Valentine's Day. I got you a couple's t-shirt. It better not be the bug one.
I know you.
I love children's books. I think that children's books are a wonderful space where authors are doing great work and are really not talking down to kids.
Yeah.
But if I had to give one piece of advice to Catherine right now, it would be don't start a chapter with, so let me summarize.
Right.
Chapter 12. So let me summarize here. We are
And here's all the
probably in the
things.
Amazon rainforest, and we are either in our own past or in our own future.
I love the
Yep.
idea of saying, let me summarize, and then proceeding to give me the most ambiguous, non-certain information you can give me. Let me summarize. I don't know anything about this topic. Well, thank you for the summary. I really
Let me
appreciate you
summarize.
interjecting.
I'm completely
That's
lost.
great. I think that's hilarious. If it was intentional. If it's not intentional, it is very lazy.
Quick question. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Great.
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Insightful.
Awesome. Thank you for clearing
Thank you for the time.
everything up. Okay.
So,
Where are we? I don't know. It's definitely not the Red Sea, though. That's my only
There's one
landmark
place
that I know.
would know by sight, by hearing, by sound.
So they do decide, hey, we hear some Hork-Bajir, or I don't know, we just hear commotion, and Rachel's like, heck yeah, I'm gonna do what I do. Let's go fight. That's this moment, right? And she goes bear in the freaking Amazon. Well, they don't know it's the Amazon, but
Oh.
heavy furred grizzly bear. Is that right?
Axe also drops the name of the cosmic event, the Sario Rip,
Ooh, that's right. They
Yeah.
say it 1st
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
A wrinkle
which made me
inside.
think
Yeah.
of what was that action movie that I never saw that then got a sequel that I saw a trailer for all the time, which was Sicario, Day of the Soldado.
Oh,
I saw
yeah.
that so many times. Just the trailer for that. So every time I saw Sario Rip, that's all I could think of. Was
I love when we have those.
was a
specific
modern
moments.
Western action movie.
Yeah.
With a very vague title.
And what he defined it as was a big moment, like a big explosion, basically happens. Whatever the reason for the explosion, it's such a big explosion that it throws you through time in a weird way, an unpredictable.
Not just
weird
for
way.
any reason. They specifically said it's because they crossed the streams.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
The Draken
Ghostbusters knew.
beams collided. They crossed the streams like in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it sent them back in time, which is an act known as Sario's kindness.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and Axe didn't take notes because he had a crush on a girl.
Right. There was a game on, and there was a female Andalite. Hello, I'm Nario Sario.
And I'm Koichi Sario. You heard me.
And we're the Sario Brothers.
Yo, hold on. Are you doing the video game voice? I'm doing the Brooklyn thing. Whatever.
Did you get stuck in an alternate timeline?
And the only way out is... Hey, how do I get out of here?
Destroy your alternate self. I mean, we're plumbers, aren't we?
Are we?
Anyway, if you need to get out of a Sario rip, give us a call today.
And we'll reach right in there and get you out and hope it never happens again.
Yeah, what are the chances that you get stuck in a Sario rip twice?
What do you mean that's all the studio time we get? Blap.
That was very silly, but the more I thought about it, at first I was like, oh, that's dumb. Like, that's such a way to write this whole thing off. And I was like, no, I mean, that's relatable content. You know, you've got all these other kids who are distracted by all these dumb things, and, you know, Axe constantly gets set up as like the mature one amidst the Animorphs. And, you know, I like the idea. Yeah, he's a kid. Yeah.
It kind of ties it into the whole idea of that these are kids.
Yeah.
Something that these books can sometimes forget because, like you said,
Right.
Rachel goes bare. And then they're going to go for just a fight with a bunch of Hork-Bajir in the middle of the rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be messy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hot. And just very difficult. Like, you can't see it. Not a great morph. And then even Jake's like, oh, she's being reckless, but whatever, I guess. And she does get really hurt. This is probably the scene in this book that I remember the most from prior reads-throughs, is that she is unconscious, but her fur is alive in the fact that there's thousands and thousands of ants all over it. And they even describe them as going in her ears and in her mouth and all over her while she's unconscious, laying there, a bloody mess.
Very icky.
Biting her and biting off chunks.
Yeah.
It was a strange counterpoint, too, because you get this very vulnerable moment that we see from the outside. We get a lot of vulnerable moments from the inside where someone has something kind of happen to them and they have to reckon psychologically with it. But frankly, this is kind of a case where it's like Rachel's unconscious and fundamentally she's not dealing with this right now because she's not of her conscious mind. But to see that, especially, not necessarily, especially with someone who's, you know, related to you or someone who's just someone you're close to, looking on that would be a memory that would be very difficult to wash out with pretty much anything.
And you have to remember, in the prior book, Jake watched Marco die.
Yeah.
And then this is a few days later or something. I don't know the time between 10 and 11.
What a week.
But so yeah, he saw that, and then now he sees this with his cousin. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And with the Animorphs, there is a little bit of detachment from the violence because they'll say like, "Oh, my guts are spilling out. Better change back," and then they're not. And this is something that I'm surprised they haven't touched more recently. But if you're unconscious, you could just sleep past that 2-hour mark, and suddenly Rachel's a bear forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if she's like
forever.
survives being attacked by ants, she'll just be stuck as a bear in the rainforest.
That's right.
That would suck.
Yeah, Anthony, there was a book a few books ago where Cassie got very into her nature self and wanted to take care of some baby skunks. So she morphed a mom skunk and went and slept with them and then woke up in a panic, not knowing how long she'd been asleep. Yeah.
I know that I heard from listening to the podcast. I'm surprised that people don't like Cassie because that was my favorite book so far.
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved when she was a mama skunk.
Yeah. But she could have slept through the morph.
Yeah.
That was a bad choice. So Jake actually comes up with a good idea. We often rag on Jake for his poor planning skills at times.
Subpar leadership.
But he was like, let's find another ant colony. Let's lead him to this ant colony. Let's have him fight. And maybe that'll just buy her a little bit more time. And if it doesn't, we're screwed. But luckily it does. She wakes up, realizes the horrific situation she's in, and they both have ants all over them at this point. I think Jake has ants on him too now. And they just run in.
He like carried them over. With a piece of rotting flesh.
Yeah, gross.
Or whatever. It was like bear fur covered in blood.
And
there is a part of Rachel Bear.
Yeah, and they jump into the water, and then they're told, get
they
out of there.
Into the river.
Yes.
The water is not better because it is full of fish that will eat you.
Piranhas. So they get right back out of the water. And Rachel has a great line, and I should have had it available right at that moment. Does anybody have it?
I've got it right here.
Oh, perfect.
So prepared.
I yanked my feet away, inches away of a school of flesh-eating piranha. This is the rainforest? Rachel demanded angrily, spitting water and combing through her hair for any remaining ants. This is the rainforest everyone wants to save? Ants and piranha and snakes and bugs the size of rats? Well, as far as I'm concerned, they can burn it down, pave it over, and put up malls and convenience stores.
Boom. Yeah.
Relatable content.
I mean, the whole thing is just it's relentless. Like, you can describe the whole situation as completely relentless as they go.
Have any of you seen the movie Gravity?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, I think that's the Sandra Bullock one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm so bad with actor names. I'm assuming yes, but yes.
Yeah.
She's in space, and
Going in space,
it's
yeah.
basically the net,
Spoilers.
but she's in space.
Yeah, spoilers for Gravity. But it's the same concept of just there's debris flying in space, there's a airlock leak, there's an explosion, the shuttle is burning through the atmosphere, it crashes into a lake, she's safe, she jumps out, and then the water from the lake spills into it and it starts drowning her. It's like, can she just catch a break?
Get one break. Yes.
And that's how I felt reading this. It's like, okay, they're safe now, right? Nope, there's piranhas.
There's
Okay.
still more.
It's like a hat on a hat, but of things that are going to kill you.
And what do you guys think about, like, I think this is a good point to bring it up. Like, Jake's really beating himself up a lot in this book, more than usual, I think. I mean, it's our third time in his head, probably only the second that he's really been the leader. And so like the first time he's just learning about the whole thing and there's not really any roles. The second time he's trapped in his own mind for a lot of it. And then now this is the first time he's really being a leader and that we see that point of view of him being a leader. And he's more aware that he's like, why am I the leader? Well, I'm not any better at this than anybody else. And that stuck out to me more this time than I think any other time, how much he has imposter syndrome, but also, like, for a reason. Like, usually imposter syndrome is like, you're better than you think. He's about what he thinks he is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, he's a kid. I mean, he's a kid who's acknowledging his own limitations. And it's frustrating to me thinking about the idea of, like, well, just talk to somebody. And I'm like, okay, well, hang on. When I was Jake's age, because he can't tell me his exact age, I assume I wouldn't have exactly been willing to just say, yeah, let me divulge, these feelings of vulnerability that I have about letting down my friends and, constantly making bad plans and everything like that. And, all these other people who have these skills that I don't necessarily have, but I'm supposed to utilize. And he wants other people to almost challenge his leadership because that's the only thing that he feels like will validate the internal pressure and the external pressure rather than just saying, people are leaning on me for a reason, I guess.
Yes, someone just call me out on how ridiculous this is so that I just know that you guys are aware of how ridiculous this is.
Are you guys aware?
Yeah. And to be fair, Tobias does.
Yes, he does.
When he says to Axe to sabotage the bug fighter before they get overrun by Hork-Bajir, Jake tells Tobias that he'll be staying behind, not because he wants Axe to die, but because he can't risk everybody. So he is making an objectively difficult decision that could end badly, knowing that the outcome would only be worse if everybody stayed together.
Right.
Yeah. And Jake calls him out on it when Axe is essentially running for his life at that point. He says, are you happy now, Jake? Axe, run this way, go left, right. Like, and Jake's just like, well, sorry, Tobias. Jeez, I'm just trying to do my best. Yeah.
And it is that question of, like, and I kind of like that about these books is that it does look into those a lot. Each book is from a character's perspective, and Applegate really does make it a point to kind of pick at why they're doing these things, why they are fighting, what drives them, and what purpose they serve in each book. And I feel like probably for Tobias that well's going to run dry pretty soon. But with a character like Jake, learning that he's not a perfect leader and growing into that role is something that could develop over the books. And I'm kind of hoping that these lessons aren't forgotten after this one.
Forgotten. Good.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Dang, that was good. It was good.
So at that point they meet up with Axe. Axe is now a monkey. Oh, you got a monkey morph. What a great idea. Let's all go monkey. And they have a little bit of monkeying around time, climbing around, flying through the trees, and for once not freaking out.
This is the resident space cadet that's a hot monkey.
Yeah.
It's Axe. He's
happening in real life.
Female monkey that everybody, all the other monkeys want to hold hands with. And I think maybe at this point, Jake's like, "Oh, these are previews of the future.
Yes.
That's what's up."
He's starting to see.
He stole it from Lost.
Yeah, yeah. He's starting to realize, hey, I'm having moments that I had been flashing forward to earlier. I'm seeing them realized. So there's some sort of connection here. They monkey around, and at that point, they finish doing that, and they demorph, and that's when a group that they had like briefly, I think, seen before, but a group of humans, like a tribe, some kind of local local group.
Yeah, someone threw a spear at them at one point, and it was like it was like a one sentence thing of like, oh, some kid threw that.
Yeah, yeah, it was very quick earlier, but now
nobody
right
addressed
there.
it. Yeah. But like now they're here.
And Jake's just like rude.
Yeah, and they walk up, and the leader puts the spear down and is like, basically the language barrier, right? And they're like, hey, it sounds like Spanish. Marco's like, oh, I know Spanish. Espirito is spirit. Good job, Marco. And so they say, oh, you're like a monkey spirit or something like that. In what Cassie guesses is Portuguese. And hey, there's bad things in the jungle. I agree, there are bad things in the jungle. We're not the bad things. They're the bad things. Haha. And they all kind of agree, like, yeah, like, let's take out these bad things. Let's go our separate ways, and we're both on the same side, sort of.
He looked at Axe, at his extra stalk eyes and his wicked tail. Mal diablo. I'm guessing he's calling Axe a devil, Marco said.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like, I appreciate there being this language barrier because it shows a way that you can do a language barrier in children's media without it being so frustrating.
You said that the language barrier thing, that's a good point, but why would Axe not understand them? Why does he understands English. Why would he not understand Spanish?
What?
Like, Axe first came to Earth and understood Jake the first time that he ever spoke.
Because Axe doesn't speak in a language. He speaks in thought.
Right, so he understood Jake because Jake's language, like, turned into, like, the correct thoughts in his head or whatever, right? And then, so why would that make any difference if...
So could they thought speak to the individuals of the
show? They could have saved so much time if Axe was just able to understand them.
Yeah, like, you basically have an interpreter right here for every situation. What are you doing?
Or just like, hold on, I'm going to turn it back into a monkey. You know I can do this. This isn't going to surprise you. Okay, good. Now we can communicate through thoughts.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah,
there are no languages. Everything's great.
Either way, they got there. It didn't take very long.
Right.
It happened quickly, and I think it happened quickly for the better.
Yes,
because the pacing at the beginning was so slow.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have sped that up and then spent more time here, and then we would have had this exact same conversation of why not just do it through thought speak?
Yeah,
because they're on a time crunch, they decide the best course of action is to take a nap.
Yes. They're like, I'm so tired. I'm going to go to sleep. We have like 2 hours.
Because the Sario rip happened at a specific time and they went back in time, when that time comes, there's going to be like a weird overlap and it's going to collapse reality and it's going to reset everything and they're just going to die or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not entirely clear, but they have a time limit. They have to be done by 8:30 or whatever.
Yeah, once it gets to that point, there's just too many Jakes and nature won't.
Nature will not abide an extra Jake.
Too many Jakes, yeah. And so like it's only gone like half a day back or something like that because they've because at one point they were like, I don't know when we are right now, but they realized because Jake's kind of got this like anchor of like, I've been flashing around this time and I'm now flashing back to before as well. This is happening in real time. That it's like we're only like half a day behind or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, we only have until 8:00 because at that point there will be 2 Jakes. How many Jakes are there now? It's not 8:00 yet. There's presumably a Jake.
There's 2 Jakes, but they're in different countries. It's fine. They're using different IP addresses.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
but at 8:00.
Once the Sicario rip happens and Jake lands in Brazil, 2 Jakes, 1 IP address.
Yes.
Then it's bad.
That's gonna do it.
Got it.
Visitor 3 is also there. All the Yeerks that were crashing the Blade ship are also there. They hear Visitor 3 saying, hey, this Sario rip's going to close in this amount of time. So it's kind of confirmed. And Axe is speculating. He's like, I think this thing will close at that time and probably everyone will die. I wasn't paying attention.
And I love our little controller interaction that we get where he's basically directing the Hork-Bajir to shoot creatures that he doesn't recognize. He's like, I don't think that creature belongs here. Shoot it. which
Yeah.
smart.
What if they just got like a high school dropout? Like
Yeah.
Right.
some stoner working at Pizza Hut who doesn't know
Yeah.
what type of lizards live in the rainforest.
Well, because they shot
You
at the
know, it
wrong
was
guy
cathartic.
first. Yeah, they said
They're
that
just
he's like,
taking
oh
it.
yeah, I think that's like a pig. I don't think pigs belong in the Amazon. It's like, bro, you clearly don't know anything about the Amazon. This is terrible.
And then
Could've
Visitor
shot
3
anything.
later, even Visitor 3 later says that, right? He comes down
Yeah.
as a snake. And
Didn't you ever think that one of these animals could be me and Morph?
yeah, the way he says it, he's like doing his like calm thing, or he's speaking very calmly, and then like, do you think that you recognize that I could be in Morph? He's like a giant anaconda or something.
And then so they start shooting trees instead.
Yeah, they're-
and he
yeah.
yells at him. You think the Andalite bandits are all trees?
Yeah, he's being very much like a parent, being like, you're a big idiot, but I'm not gonna like just demean you in front of everybody, but I'm gonna let you know that you're a big idiot. Yeah.
I do also appreciate Visser 3 taking the time to finally acquire an Earth animal.
Yes.
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 Mhm.
Everything so far has been like crazy, awesome space alien monsters.
And
Now
we
he's
follow up
just a
with
snake.
one in a little bit.
We do get one.
And
He's like, I want a
so,
big snake. That sounds cool.
When the Animorphs just pass out, they wake up and there's a jaguar right there, and they're like, "Oh, okay." So they just, I hope that if I touch it, it does its acquiring trance. Most of them do, so it seems like it should. And they all kind of do that, and they're all like holding it, and it's like, okay, I'll let go first, and I'll go. You let go next. Who's the fastest? You can let go last. And Axe is like, why me every time, man?
Every time.
Because he's got that horse bod.
Yeah, he's got that
true.
horse bods. So
A lot of respect to them for not just like punching the jaguar.
Not
It's
just
like,
freaking
it's
out.
not moving. Boom.
Well,
They,
and
they-
then
they
now we
responded
run.
quite well under pressure here. Whereas in like a Goosebumps book, there would be like 3 chapters of the cat's laying on top of me because it's a cat. Cats do that. The cat's gonna lay on top of you when you sleep.
Yep.
And then like staring at it, and then it moves, and then cut to chapter. It's like, no,
it didn't move.
Jake knew what to do. He didn't know it was going to work, but he at least knew enough. I kind of like that level of agency these characters get in these books.
Given the fact, though, that it took like 6 chapters to get inside a Safeway, but 1 paragraph to acquire a jaguar, was just really wild pacing to me. You know, like,
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be so extreme.
He was built for a
that's
storm.
like one of my biggest problems with this one.
Yeah.
is that the pacing is like it is all over the page.
Which is, I don't think has really been the case. Occasionally, I think, right, guys, we've said sometimes they tend to wrap it up kind of quick.
Mhm.
But otherwise, I feel like the books are usually pretty steady until maybe the end. Not this like forever to get the mission going thing. If anything, there's usually like a mini mission and then the main mission, typically.
Right.
Not just like getting to the
It
mission.
reveals greater
Anyways,
knowledge.
They find the blade ship is what is the next major thing that happens.
As jaguars, they're now jaguars in the night, talking about how awesome that is. And they see the blade ship, and they've pulled the Yeerk ship over there. So lucky for them, both ships are in one place. They see Visitor 3 home aloneing it in a window. It's a projection, and they think Visitor 3 is there, but it's just a hologram they discover.
Yep. Chapter 21. It's a trap.
Yeah,
That's all I've got.
yeah.
I feel like we may have glossed over, like, so they got there in a little ship. The blade ship also fell. They sabotaged their original ship that they fell down. They take some little computer thing out, and I don't know, somebody's holding it in their mouth this whole time, maybe, as they run around. And they're like, oh, wait, if we shot lasers at each other to go back in time, we probably have to shoot lasers at each other to go forward in time. But the ship's not going to work if I don't have this thing.
And
I
that's-
got to go put this little computer thing back in.
You know what I really like about very clear foreshadowing and goals in literature? When it does exactly what they say they're going to do.
Yeah, and also, like, can you even predict that it's going to do that? Like, I don't even know
Isn't
why
it so
went half
nice
a
when
day
they
back.
spend an entire book telling you what they're going to do and then they do it?
Surprising.
That's the most tension. Yes.
That's what I find so relieving about children's books is they say what they're going to do and then they do it.
Yeah. So they just get, I guess, like, if we blow a hole in space time again, it's just gonna go precisely the same amount of time forward. I guess that's their plan. They don't really have much other plan, which is fine.
They're in a place. They're in the rainforest. I think plans are kind of out the window.
Yeah. And suddenly you realize you're like very close to the end of the book. And you're like, okay, well, this is going to wrap up. And Visitor 3 is like, yep, I am going to wrap it up. I'm right behind you as a big tentacle
Heyo.
monster.
As a alert attack.
Yeah. Yep. Made of just
And we don't need to describe what alert attack is. Everybody knows.
Is that
Everybody knows what alert attack is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I do. Yeah,
Obviously.
but it's a Tangela from Pokemon.
From the Hork
Oh, yeah.
Bajir homeworld, which I love hearing more about the Hork Bajir homeworld, but 10 pages from the end of the book is not the best place to do some lore dumping, you know?
Yes, and knowing some about the Hork-Bajir homeworld, it is an interesting little lore drop that isn't huge, but it is consistent, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's just a giant vine monster, and it just quickly is eating all of them. And Tobias is like freaking out because he's like in the sky. Oh my gosh, they just ate Axe. It just ate Rachel. It just ate Cassie. Visit 3 is just going to town.
As
And
Jake
now
knows,
it's going
because
to
this
eat
was during the
me.
Pokemon craze, the correct type to fight against the grass type is a monkey type.
Mm-hmm. So he
Ideally.
gets out of there and demorphs and morphs into a monkey, and
Monkey.
is just like, I'm a climb. I don't really know what his goal is. He does see.
It's the Men in Black strategy. Eat me!
Yeah,
Eat me!
yeah. So he sees the tribe over on the side and is like, "Hey, throw me your spear that you threw at me earlier." So he does. He grabs it and jabs it in Visitor 3's tentacle vine face. The thing's so big, I don't know how that's going to do anything. I don't think he has much of a plan. He's just anything.
Because they're poison tipped.
It's-
They just dunked it in frogs or something.
It's
Oh,
pretty chaotic.
you know how I said my favorite thing is when a book says it's going to do something and does it? My second favorite thing in
I do
books
remember
is
that.
when resolutions come about by characters' actions.
Yes, and it like really what happens at this point is it just cuts out.
Yeah,
Is it fair?
a tentacle whipped around me like a snapped high tension wire. It wrapped around itself around my neck and M dash.
End of chapter, and now suddenly back to scoping out the grocery store outside at some particular time in the evening before. The Saria Rip has been fixed, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Nice of it to not get fixed while they're in a space battle with the blade ship, but yeah, cool.
Yeah,
and the lesson here is when it comes down to it, when you have hard decisions to make, you can definitely just say, "Nah, let's not do it. Let's go."
which is what he does, because there's the moment is given again where earlier when they first did this whole thing, Rachel said, "So do we do this?" And Jake's like, "Yeah, I feel weird for some reason, but yeah." And this time Rachel says, "So do we do this?" And he goes, "Nope. Well, let's go. I'm out. Let's we're not gonna do it." And they don't question him. They're just like, "Okay,
That's it.
sure. I don't want to go die either, so okay, fine." Yeah, but we do determine it's not just completely random. He talks to Axe later, explains what happened, and Axe says, "Well, I was probably holding back another piece of information on a possibility." And
His
Jake's
favorite
like,
thing to
"Yeah,
do.
I know."
Yeah.
Jake's like, "I could tell." And he's
Didn't we just have a book where Jake tells tells Axe, "I don't like my team keeping secrets
That's
from
right.
me"?
Mhm.
yes,
Yes.
Like we just had that happen,
3
right?
books ago,
Mhm.
very recent.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Axe's book.
And yeah, he says, "I think you were the only real one there, and the rest of us were all like
Memories.
figment, copies, memories type thing," which could have implied that it was a success in the first place. If that happened, I don't know. That part was kind of fuzzy, but essentially, you died, and so instead of having 2 Jakes on the planet, there was now 1. So you just threw back to this one, and none of the rest of it happened. And it seems kind of wishy-washy, but I guess time travel always is a little bit of wishy-washy.
I think that the reason why is because he made the decision not to go on the mission, breaking the Sario Rip or whatever. And so because of that, he was there, but everybody else wasn't there for some reason.
Yeah, was that satisfying? Did you guys find that a satisfying explanation?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay. I was like, medium. I mean, I could learn more about Saria Rips, probably.
Yeah, and he said that the rest of them were all just memory fragments or something. And so why was a memory fragment of Axe able to tell him about Sario Rips in a way that when he told Axe in real world again, Axe is like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing."
See, I was thinking because of how books do, that the thing they said they were going to do, they do, and then by the character's own actions, they resolve the conflict, and then the Animorphs themselves crash the bug fighter into the Safeway.
Ooh,
That's what I was-
like close the loop.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
That would have
But
made sense.
Yeah, my wife
Would've been
thought that
great.
when the first glimpse that you saw the tribe in the jungle was actually going to end up being them, like in some sort of time loop as well, where they're trying not to see each other or something like that. I mean, that
Hmm.
wasn't the case, but yeah, I could see that being a case where like that they're the one that crashed the bug fighter. That would have been more. That would have been better.
Instead, we get this very unsatisfying resolution where if Axe had simply said, "You're not gonna like it, but if I just take my scorpion tail and just poke you in the heart,
We'll
you're gonna go
it'll-
back to
yeah.
Safeway and just don't do this, okay?
Yeah.
Solve all of the issues here."
Yeah, because he seemed pretty confident in it, but he says, "Yeah, Jake, I think you died." And Jake's like, "Oh man," and it's a bummer for Visor 3 that the only times he seems to get victories is when it doesn't count. Like he was actually gonna win, which I get it as an author, be like, I gotta have this villain win sometimes, but I also don't want to have high stakes yet, so I'll do it in a scenario where it's not really gonna matter in the end.
Do you think that Axe would have jabbed him in the heart if he was the one to get eaten by ants instead of Rachel?
Ooh.
Say, I am not enjoying this.
I don't want to remember this. Time to die.
Yeah,
Whack.
yeah. Anything else
The
to add
book's
about it?
over, right?
It's done. Yeah, they say, well, hey, Jake's like, hey, Axe, I'm a bad leader, man. I question myself all the time, made bad choices, I got us in a huge mess. And Axe is like, that's what leading is. It's hard.
Sometimes success is just luck.
Yeah. And
Jake's like, does anyone else want to watch this videotape of a fight?
and Axe is like, sounds good. Let's
I just
go.
like absolutely.
I think that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I think that's definitely what happens is because he did take the tape with him when he left his house.
Yeah.
So
a safe
he
point.
definitely just said, "Hey, let's go to Marco's house and watch this tape."
And then
instead.
the sitcom music plays as they walk away. Too many Jakes, and then that's it. Then the episode ends. You guys want to give it any kind of ratings? Typically, we do 0 to 10. Anthony, for reference. You want to start?
Oh,
How are you guys
absolutely.
Yeah. Reading it, Applegate really great with the imagery describing how animals think. She's very good at that. Still good at that to this day with her One and Only Family series. But the pacing issues, the major plot problems, and the unsatisfying conclusion, I gotta go with a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Like I read it and I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. I like this a lot. And then we discussed it and I'm like,
I hate it.
I was wrong. So when I read it, I think I talked to Zach and I'm like, that was really cool how we got into the jungle so fast. Like there was the swing dancing chapter and then they like go to the grocery store and then they're in the jungle. And he's like, no, that was like half the book. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it took forever.
maybe I just never stopped skimming from the this is what morphing is. This is what
I can give you a number because I read on Kindle and they give you a percentage. The waking up in the jungle is at 43% of the way through the book.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable
Nice.
for Act 2 to begin.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I enjoyed how intense the whole rainforest part was, and then it just kind of stopped being intense. Like, don't get out of the water. There's piranhas. Okay, it's fine. Let's go to sleep. What happened to the ants? What happened to the monsters? Yeah, 6 feels healthy. No, I'm gonna do 5. This is my lowest book so far,
Bringing it down.
and
5.
just because I didn't understand the time business, and I feel like I'm usually on top of time business, and this book made me feel dumb in regards to time business.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do 5 ants
Just 5.
carrying away
5 ants.
Yeah, 5 ants out of 10 ants.
It's not so bad. Medium amount. Yeah.
One
it's
of
not
the
like
colonies of
5,000.
ants.
It's 5 more ants than I would want on me.
It's the 5 Animorphs as ants.
Antimorphs.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Anthony. Great, Alex. Thank
All
you.
right. Oh,
Alex,
sorry.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
What is your
I
rating,
loved it.
Alex?
I wrote so I wrote this at like 2 or 3 different times in my notes. Just the way that it worked out, that it felt like one of the forgettable Twilight Zone episodes where there's an interesting enough premise, And so like there's moments where you're like, oh, it's got potential, and then it lets you down. And then it's like, okay, maybe nope, it let you down again. And there's only so many drops in your stomach before you can just be like, this isn't ultimately gripping me, because I feel like I've got to back off each time that I'm invested in something. And there are cool moments. I mean, don't get me wrong. The idea of, the descriptions that differ between the jaguar eyes and the fly eyes and such, and the way that he describes a forest versus a jungle, and the way that Cassie talks about brachiation, I thought that was really cool. There's like neat little tidbits and factoids in there that were really cool. But then I step back and think about them, and I'm like, wait, we've had all these characters so far, and frankly, they're kids who are connected to their information. They've learned this from somewhere, and now they're using that knowledge. So this seeming like, well, I'm an expert at the moment, or I'm Marco and I'm making a crack at this moment, or I'm Tobias and I'm being hot-headed. It felt like this reduction of characters down to their basal levels, rather than feeling like they were fleshed out like they have been in the other books. And so,
yes,
I couldn't get enough out of this to justify the pacing issues and all of the other items where it was unfulfilling and it was unsatisfying to get. So I would say that I have to give this one 2 Jakes that the universe cannot abide out of 5. I do feel bad about that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wanted the 2 Jakes joke. Excuse you. It's more about the bit than it is the score.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'm sad that I'm giving it that, because I felt like Jake is moving forward, but this was not the way I wanted to get that.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot more to say that we haven't already said. The pacing was for sure something. Considering this is our 3rd Jake book, this is really the first time that we can be like, hey, this is Jake and this is what he thinks and what he's doing and all that. And it feels kind of wasted on a silly little sidebar Twilight Zone-esque episode that doesn't really matter in the long run. I mean, Sorry Ribs may come up in the future, maybe not, but for now it seems very one-off of just like, oh, okay, so there was a bug fighter that crashed in a grocery store and then they got it to go away. Riveting.
Yeah. Problem solved.
Like that's the end of what really happened.
This is Jake in the danger room. Like, you're not ready yet, but here's a little cute
yeah, exactly.
mission for
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess I kind of, anytime there's a book that feels wasted, I guess I always say that. Like, I feel like the one that happens the most is Rachel. Rachel's books, I think, get wasted the most out of everybody else. But that's a different topic entirely. But so whenever there's a wasted one, it feels like a waste regardless, right? And that's just bad for Jake. And yeah, plot holes. I mean, I thought I had a really good like feeling where I am in the rainforest. Like, I thought that was really good. I thought it was really descriptive and like very chaotic, and like this stuff is trying to get me. No remorse, just relentless. I gotta go. That was probably the strongest part of the book to me.
Yeah.
Everything else fell a little flat, and it's a good point about the characters too. A lot of them are just like to say the line that they're supposed to say. I mean, they even a lot of times group Marco and Cassie together, like, oh, and they're over there as wolves because they're not even specific enough in this book to be anything else besides just wolves.
And Cassie was just there to like spout facts.
Correct.
Like that is
she
the
even
Red Sea.
said, "Am I
this
an
is
encyclopedia?" Like, yes,
Yeah.
right now you are. Yeah. Okay. I'd give it probably a 5. 5 out of 10. Monkeys flying through the trees.
I feel bad for making Anthony rate the highest.
Well, I mean,
I've read much worse books. I've read much worse books.
Yeah.
Like I would say the
Yes.
capture, the one where he's taken by a Yeerk, that's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And to say that this is only a 6 is like, that's saying something about this series.
Yep.
If so far the weakest book that I've read is a 6 out of 10, when there's some junk out there, especially for young audiences.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's take a moment to talk about you, Anthony. Can you tell us more about like what got you into the podcast and what got you interested in the podcast and what got you to start and keep up with your podcast?
Right. So, my name is Anthony. I live in Texas, and in Texas, I used to work for a children's theater for about 10 years. Graduating out of high school, I started interning there, and I was there for, I think, 11 or 12 years total. And then in 2020, a little pandemic happened. I don't know if y'all were aware.
That's right.
I'd heard.
And
I noticed.
suddenly, this dream job that I had, that I loved and was so passionate about, suddenly I had to realize, like, hey, rent costs money. I can't work in a place that's not consistent. I need something stable. And breaking from that was very difficult. And one of the things that happened as I kind of transitioned out of that into more stable, boring 9-to-5 work is that I needed something to fulfill me creatively. And I started doing podcasts with a movie review podcast that was more comedy focused. And then I kind of bounced around some ideas. And as a fan of shows like the Goosebuds podcast, I thought, you know, what'd be fun is if we look at some children's books and poke fun at them. And I started doing that, and doing that solo is kind of hard to just riff on a book in a humorous way. And then and I actually interviewed Chad Quant from the Goosebuds podcast recently, and I told him about this, is that the turning point for am I making fun of children's books and am I more serious about this is when I did a review for a book called I Know Your Secret by Ashley Benediz Grab, which talked about in a very age appropriate way for children around 12 years old what the topic of grooming is and how inappropriate age gaps in friendships can lend to difficult and sometimes problematic power dynamics. And I realized that the space of children's literature is not just a space for nostalgia and the 90s vaporwave talking about Goosebumps and the TV shows and all that. There's cool things going on in children's literature, and there's amazing stories by diverse authors out there. And so I started approaching it more seriously and was reaching out to authors. The first author interview I got was with Amy Sarag King, who did a book called Attack of the Black Rectangles, which was about a book censorship where the teacher was redacting sections of a book. And that kind of just snowballed into I'm working with publishers and publicists, getting weekly interviews for authors who are releasing books, like contemporary books. I've got one coming up with Gordon Corman, author of over 100 different middle grade books. I did one with Bruce Coville, one of the classic children's literature authors. Amy Sarag King was one of my favorites. So yeah, the Book Faire podcast. It is a place where Book Faire spelled Faire. The Book Faire podcast is a place where I interview authors every week. I highlight contemporary books in the children's literature space. So if you're an adult or with children or a teacher, you can learn about what's coming out, what kind of stories there are, get some recommendations, as well as follow the news of what's happening, because there's a lot of book bans going on right now. But there's also a lot of really cool programs like the Brooklyn Library. I've been covering a lot this month about some of their summer programs that are going on that are available to anybody.
That's awesome.
I love it.
I heard you at one point talk about how nostalgia can be really like powerful in many different ways. So like, does this series hold up, or is it just like a 90s lens of like feel good from when you read it at the time, or do you think it still translates today for this series, at least Animorphs?
I will say for Animorphs, I think Animorphs does hold up very well. There's a lot going in there. It's about friendships. It's about families. It's about, and it's a hard thing to say, but it's about difficult conversations because of something like with Jake and Tom. And you talked about this, about how when you were, Alex, you talked about this earlier, how when you were Jake's age, presumably, you would not want to talk to somebody about something. And that's actually a really dangerous message to put out there to kids, is like, you can't trust adults. But whenever you're dealing with children, like giving them a sense of agency and a sense of safety, a sense of control, and something like Animorphs that gives these young characters that sense of the ability to make effective change in their lives is really powerful for young audiences. And I think that resonates to this day.
Did 90s series, they had to churn out things so much that like are there expectations like that still placed on any children's literature now, of like churning out these things so quickly?
Not even close. Goosebumps when Goosebumps debuted in 91, I think it was 2 books a month for the whole calendar year.
That's crazy.
And then it was 1 book a month. And I think Animorphs was 1 or 2 a month. And K.A. Applegate was like open about ghostwriters in the series. It wasn't as cagey as with R.L. Stine. But even Goosebumps today, House of Shivers is the latest Goosebumps entry. And I think there's 5 books. And he's releasing about 2 books a year. Okay, Gordon Corman has 100 books out. And he also does about 3 or 4 books a year. Like, there is nowhere near that level of pressure on authors these days.
I wonder why the expectations have
Nice.
changed. I mean, it was also cool to like quote collect them all or whatever, which was kind of a thing heavy in the 90s, is collecting all of the things.
Readership is down. Like, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of the biggest reason why, is that even with book fairs being Scholastic's main source of income, the readership in children is way down, and it has been going down for the last 20 years.
That's a bummer. Is there anything we can do to change that?
Read to your kids. If you want to form lasting bonds with children, like I talked to somebody about this recently, but sitting down and reading with your child at the end of the day is the difference between being a dad or a mom who picks them up from school or comes home from work and then just kind of decompresses and lounges around the house. When you take that 10 minutes to just sit down and read a chapter out of a book or read a picture book to them, it just shows that you're there for them, and it builds those memories, those core memories of reading and of just being there.
Yeah, my oldest reads constantly now, and I think it's probably a result of we've never missed a bedtime story time in 7 years. We've always done a bedtime story time, and so I've seen that translate because he reads constantly all the time on his own. He looks like me when I don't think I can hand him like an Animorphs book yet or anything like that, but he's been reading a lot lately, so it's good. It's good.
Yeah, my dad worked at the local newspaper, which is weird because we live in a big city, so the local newspaper was like the regional one. So he went in at 4:00 in the afternoon and got home at 2:00 in the morning, and so he would pick me up from school, drop me off at home, and then I wouldn't see him until the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have that. My like, and as a contrast to not having those story times, my entry to reading started when shortly after high school, because I went to a kind of like underperforming high school with lower funding. And when I was a senior, we didn't have any reading assignments. We just we went over stuff in class, but like in like a wood shop class, they were like, okay, someone broke the table saw. Let's go clear out a book room for them for the end of the year. And so while we were just moving boxes of books out of the old book room and getting them on an elevator to go upstairs, I just like, that's 1984. I'm going to put that in my bag. That's Animal Farm. Let me grab that. Hey, it's a Stagecraft textbook. I'm in theater. Let me grab that textbook. So I just stole a bunch of books from my high school. And that's kind of when I started reading. And then I, of course, got into the children's theater. And so I was always in that space. And then especially with doing this podcast, I'm not finishing a lot of books, but I read like the first 100 pages of a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that it's given you a lot of opportunity to read stuff that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise, for sure.
Absolutely. Well. Attack of the Black Rectangles talks about how students lead the charge in fighting against book bans, which is a big thing going on right now. Books Unbanned is a program from the Brooklyn Library that is helping to set up teen reading programs fighting against censorship across the United States. And they'll work with libraries locally to set up teen-led programs. And like that stuff's out there. It's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for letting us know about those things.
Yeah.
If there's anything else, like once again, it's the Book Faire podcast, Fair with the E.
Yes. The Book Faire podcast, spelled F-A-I-R-E. There's a Blue Sky page at Book Faire Pod. And then there's a Patreon page, patreon.com/thebookfair. And there's a Patreon page. It is patreon.com/thebookfair. And there's no membership fee. There's no payment for that. It's just a place where I put the links to stuff because Spotify doesn't like when you have a bunch of links.
Got it. Well, Anthony, thanks for your time today, man. I appreciate you coming on to read this random Animorphs book with us. And I'm glad we could add to your. Now you've gone as far as 11 to this point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. May I recommend coming up with some of these Chronicles books? If you haven't read some of the Chronicles books,
I've heard how crazy they are.
Even
I really want to check them out.
They're pretty great. Yeah.
Real good.
Okay. Well, I think we'll end here. Right? We still. This is our favorite part, Alex.
Why do you always tell me that?
Because I don't know how to get out of here.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, but one of these days.
We just say
my outro is so bad. I just and as always, I'll talk at you next time.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's pretty
Next
much
time.
don't stay in morph for more than 2 hours. That's how they get you.
Exactly.
Yep. Bye now.
Bye. Bye.
Animorphs 55, the podcast, is a fan-driven, nostalgic podcast created by Zach Hurdle, Patrick Viersba, and Alex Holton. But don't tell the Yeerks. Theme music provided by Neko Boy. Podcast artwork by Rachel Hurdle. Episodes edited by Patrick Viersba. Based on the 90s sci-fi kids series written by K.A. Applegate, Michael Grant, and other contributing authors. To contact the show, email animorphspodpeople@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
And opinions expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect the views of the Animorphs 55 the podcast crew.